Are you ready for one of my deepest, darkest secrets? I know it's only day 25 of the Bedhead Chronicles, in which I roll out of bed and whatever hair I've got of the morning, I just hit record and share with you an inspirational thought, an experience that I've had, and sometimes a mistake that I've made in hopes of preventing you from having to go down my own rabbit holes, and also in hopes of helping you live a more authentic life. That's what I consider myself, a permission giver. And part of that permission is sharing vulnerably some of the things that are kind of cringe. So, my question for you is, have you ever tried manifesting? I know that word had a lot of buzz for a while, and I haven't seen that in my algorithms for just a minute. I think in some ways not we all, many of us collectively jumped on that bandwagon and really worked at that idea of manifesting and the law of attraction, which is where if you just get your thoughts right, do some visualization, raise your energetic vibration to match the thing that it is that you most desire, that it will be attracted into your life. And I'm not here to debunk that. And I'm not here to say that it doesn't work, because I have actually had some pretty cool synchronicities where things did happen in my life in a way that I desired. I think there's a duality to everything. There's polarity to everything. There's pleasant and unpleasant. There's light and there's shadow. And so even the things we most desire have this dualistic side to them. It is not all just sunshine and rainbows, no matter how much we want it to be. But I don't want to get too far into the law of attraction. I really just want to share with you my journal. So, this is one of the exercises that I tried because I read the book Ninja Selling back when I was trying to become a coach. I can't remember who it's by. It's basically essentially was part of the sales training for Keller Williams, the real estate company. Anyway, it was a good enough book. I think their idea of selling is valuable. But one of the exercises in the book is to write down by hand the amount of money that you want to be making. I think it's the amount of money that you want to be making. But that's how I did it. 3 times a day. You write it 30 times, 3 times a day for 30 days. And so that is what I did faithfully, wrote down. And I even like this journal actually let you had the dates on it, so you can kind of see that. I don't know if that messes up the camera. Um, Basically wrote it 3 times a day for 30 days. And what I wrote in my journal was, I did some back of the envelope math on the amount of money that I needed to live my dream life. And that was going to be $16,000 per month. And so I wrote 30 times a day something to the effect of, I earn $16,000 per month. Like I said, I did this at a time when I was working on becoming a coach. And I was also donating plasma to buy my groceries for me and my kids. So you can kind of see the juxtaposition there. Hero's journey just to buy groceries, and then this sort of magical thinking cap that I would put on and visualize my best life. So I'm just going to read you, like, I'm ADD, so I can't write the exact same line every single time. So and maybe that's why it didn't work. So I just kind of like had some nuances to it. It was, I am a $16,000 per month content producer. I'm a $16,000 per month speaker and teacher. I am aligned with the abundant frequency of $16,000 per month. All that I am is aligned with $16,000 per month. I am a $16,000 per month coach and mentor. Okay, that's enough for now. Like I said, I did that. You know what? Didn't happen magically. It's not happening now. Not to say that it's not possible. And the idea behind the premise behind the exercise was, essentially, if you've heard of the reticular activating system and how you basically open up your mind to what's possible and familiarize yourself with things and opportunities that maybe you hadn't seen. And I didn't realize that $16,000 per month is $200,000 per year. That's not actually an impossible number. Sure, it feels like a stretch, particularly at that time, like I said, where I was selling my stuff, including bodily fluids, legally for money to purchase just the basic necessities. Um, but it's certainly doable, right? I know plenty of people that make that and more, just from their day jobs even. So it's not to say that I had a pie in the sky idea necessarily, but just the approach, right? And I actually, I'll be linking in the description a blog post that I wrote back in July where I talked about the last stone that I turned over. I truly had an obsession with rewriting my money story, essentially changing my relationship with money. I've shared in previous videos here how I grew up really, really poor, and that followed me. You can take the girl out of the poverty, but you can't necessarily just take the poverty right out of the girl. And I really wanted to change and fix me. And so I was willing to try anything that anybody suggested. One time, I don't remember what podcast I listened to. It might have been, it wasn't Jensen Shiro. It was Gina DeVee, who's amazing, and I love her, and I recommend listening to her. But for some reason, I got it in my head that I needed to just write down. During the same season. I guess I was pretty desperate. Write down the amount of money that I needed, and just really believe it was going to show up. So I remember talking to a friend of mine, a friend that has known me for 30 years. Yeah, really that long. I know, because I'm so young, and we've known each other since grade school. Um, and she called me just to check in, see how things were going, and I told her that I was working on manifesting and that I was going to make $100,000. And I remember that she's a good friend and she's known me for a long time. So instead of being like, "Yo, crazy," she said, "Interesting. How did you come up with that number?" I'm sure I had a reason. I can't remember now. Um, but let's just say that didn't happen either. Um, what I actually figured out after turning over every single stone that I could possibly think of with my financial journey, the last stone that I turned over, the very last stone, and the one that has worked the best for me, was conventional thinking. I hadn't really tried that before. So I had been an entrepreneur most of my adult life. I worked in a few companies, founded and built a few companies with my ex-husband, and had only worked odd jobs in between when it was absolutely completely necessary. So I actually got a job, like a real job, a big girl job that paid the bills. Worked my way up into a job where I could start saving money for the first time, really, in my adult life, and decided that I was going to start supporting myself and my vision. And rather than it being soul sucking the way that I thought it would be, and rather than feeling like I had sold my soul, I actually, for the first time, found that I was resourcing my soul. And you might be listening and thinking, like, wow, I think I'm done listening to this lady. And if that's the case, that means that you figured this out long before I did. But if you're one of those creatives like me, who is just like all about being ruggedly individualistic and authentic and not selling out, that was a really important lesson for me to learn, that it's okay. It's okay to have a regular job, and that it's not going to kill my creativity, my authenticity, and that I can keep doing what I feel called to do, and maybe even a little better, because I'm not spinning out about whether or not my veins are going to collapse when I am needing to buy groceries. And I know that's a little bit crude to say, But man, I mean, sometimes when you back yourself into a corner, you realize that is it really worth it? I listen to I mean, I've listened to so many biographies, read so many biographies about entrepreneurs, in their moments of trial and the dark night of the soul where they only ate ramen noodles for 6 months or they only ate every third meal. I did a lot of that in my life, really way too much. And I'm just convinced that there's an easier way. Yeah, you don't have to redline your nervous system in order to do what you love. But I think on the same token, you do have to figure out how to give yourself permission. And that's part of why I'm showing up here in this way, in this space, and sharing some of my most cringy um, experiments with you, because this is human and this is messy. And if you're like me, you try everything. And if you're not like me, you're probably a lot more sane. So, um, yep, fun message for you today. I hope you get a little chuckle from it. And I look forward to seeing you in this space tomorrow. Thanks for watching all the way through. I'd love to hear something cringy that you have tried in this journey of changing your life and transformation. Like, surely I'm not the only one, right? Like, you've tried something that's a little silly or not. All right. Take care and wishing you a very authentic day.